this is Dipplin, my shiny Dipplin. She has no name as of me making this video, but she has given me some fascinating information about her that I did not know about, and brought up a fascinating question. What makes a good competitive Eviolite Pokemon?
Is there more to us than the words we say, the games we play? Can we know that we're not dreaming?
So yeah, if you aren't aware or have lived under a rock for a few days like me, you might be surprised to know that Dipplin can use the Eviolite item. Yeah, apparently Dipplin evolves again in the next DLC. Good to know. Some of my viewers doubt it, but and you know, they say that this is a glitch. But you know what? We'll see. We'll see. But this means Dipplin now has even better usage as a support Pokemon on the team, since it has access to amazing tech and an ability, and can make use of the Eviolite item. So, what is the Eviolite, you may be asking? Well, the Eviolite is an item that boosts an unevolved Pokemon's defenses by 50%. So, a 90 base defense Pokemon becomes a base 135 defense Pokemon. But it only works on Pokemon that can evolve, but aren't evolved. So, as an example, Heracross can't use it since it doesn't evolve, but Stantler can because it evolves into Weirdeer. So, Heracross will not get the defensive buff, but Stantler will. It gives Pokemon that otherwise nobody would consider using a chance to shine, since now they're so much bulkier than normal. I mean, why do you think my viewers have a panic attack when I bring in Mindy the Dunsparce now against them? Eviolite gives viability, but it can't just be given to any Pokemon that meets the requirement. It only really shows its value with certain Pokemon. Pokemon with above average defenses, but either low HP or low speed and offensive stats who can make full use of its passive buffs. However, there are downsides to the Eviolite. Like I mentioned, a fully evolved Pokemon can run another item, whereas Eviolite users can only ever have the Eviolite, and it's obvious to see who an Eviolite user is. So, this begs the question of who makes a good Eviolite user? The answer is, well, that depends. To qualify as an ideal Eviolite user, you need to have the following in my opinion. First, a good ability that can be used often, such as Intimidate. Second, a high enough set of defenses to warrant the Eviolite. The higher the stat, the bigger the boost. And finally, third, a selection of moves that offer viability in as many scenarios as possible for the Eviolite user. In terms of popular VGC Eviolite users, there are 4 considered to be the best candidates as an Eviolite Pokemon. From Generation 2, we have Porygon 2. From Generation 3, we have Dusclops. From Generation 7, we have Type Null. And finally, from Generation 8, we have Galarian Corsola. We'll skip over their defenses so we can, save time, because each of them are equal to or higher than 90 base defense points, and focus on their moves and abilities. Starting with Porygon 2, it is renowned for having tons of options in Pokemon battles, with Trace allowing it to copy other abilities, download which will boost either its physical or special attack, depending on which stat is weaker on the opponent's side of the field, and finally Analytic, which boosts P2's offensive moves if it were to be moving last, which isn't that hard considering how slow P2 is. And as for its moves, Recover is a solid form of, recovery, and has good options for offensive moves like Ice Beam and Thunderbolt, as well as Tri-Attack to cause status conditions like burn, paralysis, or even freezing. And if we're just talking about P2's status as a Pokemon, as well as how popular it is, back in Sword and Shield, Porygon 2 was outright banned on the ladder for about 1 season or so, or 1 regulation, which would be about a month. It was banned for just being that popular among 9 other Pokemon. If that doesn't speak to the legacy of how popular Porygon 2 is as an Eviolite user, well, nothing will. Moving on to Dusclops, Frisk is, rather pointless in an open team sheet format. For the latter, however, being able to see what items your opponent has removes any surprises they may have for you. Pressure, while not initially a problem, will cause problems as moves lose points faster over the course of a battle. And as for its own move pool, with moves like Will-O-Wisp to cause burn, Pain Split to restore health thanks to its low HP stat, and Nightshade for steady damage, Dusclops has and always will be a solid Eviolite user. Again, one of the top 4 most popular Eviolite Pokemon. Type Null, for all of its faults, has some of the best balance in terms of its stats, and as such, it doesn't mind the loss of an item in favor of more bulk. As for its ability, immunity to crits is something many trainers will adore, considering a certain Pokemon in the current meta with permanent crits. With moves like Swords Dance, Iron Head, or even special attacks like Icy Wind and Tri-Attack, these moves give it options in battle to be offensive instead of defensive. Again, another popular Eviolite Pokemon. Galarian Corsola's power comes from its ability Cursed Body. Since trainers like to use the same moves over multiple turns, having their strongest or most effective move disabled for several turns can often force an unwanted switch, especially for choice item users. As for its moves, its viability comes with how it disrupts the opponent's offensive moves, with moves like Will-O-Wisp, Strength Sap to restore health and reduce the opponent's attack stats, Nightshade for damage, and Amnesia to increase its special defenses. Of all the things said about Galarian Corsola, it's not having options isn't one. But what does this mean for Dipplin? Well, Dipplin has access to Super Sweet Syrup as its ability, which reduces the opponent's evasion by 1 stage, and 1 stage is enough to make moves like Hypnosis a powerful tool. It also makes moves like Rock Slide and Icicle Crash, and other such moves always hit. It means Will-O-Wisp can't be dodged. That's just the start. On the flip side, it can have Sticky Hold as its ability, thus ensuring its Eviolite can never be knocked off. And guess who's coming back with knockoff? A certain monkey. It also has moves like Syrup Bomb, which will reduce the target's speed stat every turn for 3 turns. This means it can actually help your team in Trick Room. It also has options like Recover, Dragon Pulse, Energy Ball, or even Grassy Glide for priority damage if the grassy terrain is up, and even Pollen Puff to heal its allies. To demonstrate Dipplin's bulk and to prove to Emily Floof, one of my viewers, that Dipplin can use the Eviolite item and that I'm not just bending in witchcraft or working in witchcraft here, I had an experiment with one of the most popular meta Pokemon, Fluttermane. They had perfect IVs but no EV investment and all neutral natures, since this was just an experiment, just a test, with the Fluttermane only using Moonblast. Dipplin A with the Eviolite survived a Moonblast, whereas Dipplin B did not. If Dipplin can survive a super effective move from Fluttermane using Moonblast, given the experiment's limited testing range, then it can be viable in my opinion as an Eviolite user. All in all, Dipplin with Eviolite can become a viable candidate on a team. Hopefully this isn't just a bug and we can use Eviolite Dipplin in Regulation E. Time will tell if it can find a place in the meta. Until then, will you be using Dipplin? And if so, how will you use it? Until next time, kiddies, bye-bye!
When you've reached the point where you can't go on, just come to me, you'll be safe from harm. If you trust in me, then I'll trust in you. There's nothing more that I need to do. If you put your hands in front of mine, we'll be shining through one at a time. Just understand you